Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, or wherever you're at. So anyways, hello, everyone. Hello, Foxy's Fishes. Hello, BJ Palmer. Hey, Akabal. How's it going today? Codyson, hello. Fish from Fever, hello. And thank you for sending everyone over here along with Chattanooga Ed. See who else? Chewy, hello. Hello, V Stag. How's it going tonight? Pew Fish Zone, hello, greetings, hello, and as well as Mr. Kev's Aquatics, as well as T-Bones Fishies. How's it going out there tonight? Hello, Chattanooga Ed. I just see that you just popped in just now. Anyways, tonight I will be talking about live foods, not whether they're good or not. We all know that's already good, but I just want to talk about them a little bit. I do have a few things to go over beforehand, a few little meta channel stuff, as well as envelope to open up. So I have that on the platter tonight. Let's see. Did I miss anyone? I hope I did not miss anyone. If I did miss anyone, hello to you. And I'm sorry I missed you. So let's see, who else do we have here? Hey, Jerry B, how's it going? Okay, one final hello. First things first, I do want to open this. I don't know if he's still around, but I know who this is from. Hey, Griffin, how's it going? So first things first, I'm going to open this. This is something I got in the mail today. Luckily, it happened today because I did want to go over this today. And if anyone does want to send me anything, any stickers or anything, a letter, you can always feel free to send it to me at Aquarium Thoughts, P.O. Box 168 at Atwood, California, 92811. So that is that's where if you want to send stuff to me, you can feel free to do so. Hey, Codyson, how's it going? So anyways, first things first, let me go ahead and open this and see what I got. I already know what I got, but let me show you what I got. Of course, I haven't opened this yet, so Griffin's enjoying a quiet house. I'm enjoying Quiet House now too, since my boys are asleep, my wife's at work, as well as my mother-in-law. So first things first, I just want to make sure this is yep, it's empty, so I don't have to worry about that. So right now I do have a little card that says hi. Hey, Jesse, how's it going with AC Aqua? And I got myself a sticker from Sand Creek Aquatics 2. So another sticker to add to my collection. I do still have some of my stickers available. So if you do want to send them on over, if you want me to send on some stickers all over to you before I get new ones, feel free to email me at dave@aquariumthoughts.com. So that is my new sticker to hang. So let me see what else I have on tap here. I just want to see if there's any notes here, which there is. This is the notes. Hey David, I hope all is well with you as yours. Thought you'd like to have one of my stickers. Love and hugs, Amy. Sand Creek Aquatics 2. So there's that. So anyways, that's done. Another thing I do want to talk about is I do have Maine's fishes, Maine's tails and furs and fins. Welcome to the live stream. Anyways, I do have a new time slot, primarily because Chattanooga Ed has been letting out earlier. So now I'm going live at 12:35 a.m. on Eastern Standard Time on Fridays, or 9:35 p.m. on Thursdays in the Pacific. It's a time zone thing, so hopefully you guys all figure it out. So pretty much it's like a couple minutes after Ed's done. That's when I go live. Another thing with that is I might be switching. I might not be switching, but I might be going every other week with Atkins Nature Aquariums. So I think next week he might be streaming at this time zone. So you might not see me next week at this time zone. Hey Atkins, speaking of the devil. Anyways, that's the person I'll be probably going every other week with. If he doesn't stream, I'll probably throw up a live like a hangout. Primarily, I just need some more time here and there just to relax and come up with better content for my live stream, as opposed to just throwing a hangout. So I figure I'll take it easy on that, and then you'll see Ian probably hopefully next week. So just keep that in mind. Every other week I'll be streaming at this time period. So there's that. Yes, I think we figured it out. Another thing I do want to mention is I just want to thank for everyone who actually hit that subscribe button. Right now I am about 26 away from 500. I'd really like to hit that 500 shortly. So if you haven't yet, make sure you do hit that subscribe button. And if you do want to get notifications each time I throw up a live stream or throw up a video, make sure you do hit that bell as well. So anyways, there's that. So anyways, I do have some videos coming up probably this week as well. Probably on Sunday like I normally have been. Hey, Poisoidens Pets, how's it going? And I'm probably butchering that name. So anyways, off to the subject, which is going to be live foods, which is a topic I just want to talk about. I do recommend live foods. Now, some fish, of course, that's the only food that they will. That's the only food that they will eat. So then, if you're worried about live foods, then you have to constantly feed live foods. Though primarily, I do at least kind of recommend some live foods once in a while. That way, they get their hunting instincts down. And I'm just going to talk about a few that I've done. A few that are pretty easy to have. First one I want to talk about is this guy right here, which is the lovely brine shrimp. Of course, a lot of people have been talking about this lately, primarily because they've been doing videos on this brine shrimp hatchery, which is actually, I guess, the Artemia blender. So that's one fish. That's one live fish food I do recommend. I know in this picture it's pretty much probably an adult. Most people feed the brine shrimp when they're like babies. That way they get the yolks. um, Primarily, it's especially good if you have like fry little fish that are like little that like want small foods. I actually feed it to my Maltese as well as my pistos. Primarily, just get them to their hunting instincts, and that way they have their extra. I don't know, just extra food. Let's see here. Ian, I keep a tub outside for culturing a lot of different critters. I don't often feed them. I don't feed them too often. I'm having a very good supply of Daphnia from my boat pond, millions of them. Which brings up number 2, which is Daphnia, which I think personally, I love culturing Daphnia. I think it's probably one of the easier ones to do. The one problem I have with Daphnia is I do culture them outside in some buckets with some, that's a light diffuser. So I have those out there. The one problem I have is actually going out there and actually harvesting the feed. But they are definitely easy to do, as well as the brine shrimp. The brine shrimp are very easy to do, though these are more of an indoor. One thing I would recommend on the brine shrimp is if you are doing them, make sure you clean out the container right after you empty it. You don't want it sitting even a day because it does stink after a quick while. But yeah, Daphnia is the one. Daphnia is probably my favorite. It's a little bit larger than the baby brine. Definitely good for the big fish as well as the little fish too. Because I know when you do harvest some Daphnia, you do get a variety of ranges of sizes. Whereas the brine shrimp, you're just getting like small little critters, which are definitely awesome for the fry. Although the big fish, yeah, they will eat them, but it's probably not as fulfilling as, say, a bunch of Daphnia would for them. I know someone mentioned, JRB did mention the live blackworms live in this substrate of his green water tank, which is my next one, which is blackworms. Another good food. I know a lot of people typically get them from their local fish shops. They normally get them from their local fish shops instead of just harvesting them or not having a culture. Although if you look at that one, let me remove that. If you look on that tank with the blue gravel, that's actually my blackworm culture. That's something I set up after watching Blake's Aquatics video on it. It's not the first time I've actually cultured blackworms. It's definitely an easy thing to do. Pretty much all you have to do is basically, if you watch Blake's video, he'll explain it, but just put it like a fine layer of gravel on the bottom and then put them down there and then just let them grow. Feed them like spirulina flakes and whatnot. That way they get their food. I used to actually have it on my back porch when I lived in my old place next to my 80-gallon tank that was outside. And I had them, and what I actually had them in, I had them in like one of those beverage coolers, which I did the gravel thing. I put some sponge filters in there. And what I did, I actually drilled some holes in there to run the airline. Gotta try to get some blackworms. I might put some into my tub to see if they make it through winter. I know a lot. I know when you get them from the fish store, they say, "Oh yeah, make sure you put them in the fridge." I've had them on my back porch in the summer. They seem to survive. Basically, you also have to make sure they get propagated as well. Easy way to do that is if you watch Blake's, he explains it. Just kind of shift them around. Another way I like to do. I think this I got it from what's his name, Florida. He used to go by Lucky Smuck's Fish Room. Basically, get a water pump, put it in there, and swivel the blackworms into the water, and just have the water pump just spit them out and cut them. Which basically it'll cut them and then they propagate into 2 worms or whatnot. So that's how you pretty much get your culture going on the blackworms. Yeah, Ryan. Yes. I forget it. Yeah, Wild Fish Tanks. That's the name of his new that's his channel name now. I just always forget that. I always know him as Lucky Smuck's Fish Tanks or Fish Room. That's pretty much that's when I first started watching him. Give me a second here. I just need a little bit of water now. But yeah, just starting my blackworm culture. Could get that growing and see how well that does. One added benefit of blackworms as well, if you do put them in a tank, sometimes they'll actually go into the substrate and live in there. And then from time to time, your fish will plop them off and you'll still have them growing in your substrate. Next one is another one I've done, which was microworms, which is another relatively easy one to do. You just start with a base, mashed potato flakes. Mashed potato flakes is one thing people use. Oats is another. Pretty relatively easy. They do climb on the wall like it's pictured in that picture, and then you kind of just scoop them out with a finger and feed them to your fish like that, and it works. Let's see here. Jesse just bought some bluefin killies from Wild Fish Tanks. Oh, that's awesome, Jesse. Did you get them yet, or are they still in transit? I would really love to check them out sometime. Let's see. Hey, Pepperland Creek Aquatics, how's it going? So anyways, Ian, hope the scuds make it through winter, but if not, I know I got some tanks with them. Yeah, I think my Daphnia cultures right now is just all scuds, so it looks like they kind of did manage to eventually get rid of all the scuds in there. His marbled bristle nose are stunning too. Okay, so you're just getting them now, Jesse. Yeah, I'd be willing. I'd be waiting to actually see them. Yeah, but anyways, microworms is another good one to do. My problem with that though is another one, just like the Daphnia. I tend to when I did do those, I did keep it outside. One problem with culturing outside is you forget all about them and you just kind of leave them out there, unless you have a bunch of tanks outside. Which if you're Jesse, you probably have that situation. But if you're in cooler environments like me, even in the wintertime, it gets pretty cold. You probably don't have many tanks outside, and you just forget about those out there cultures. So right now, the only cultures I do indoors right now is my blackworms and my brine shrimp. Whenever I'm culturing those, scuds will take over the Daphnia. Yeah, I think another problem was I kind of ignored that culture, primarily because it's outside behind my house. So next one is vinegar eels, which is another good small food, good for fry and good for fish that want small foods. They kind of like they do grow in like vinegar and they feed in vinegar. Pretty much. Kind of easy to do. It's just not as easy as others. Primarily, you're growing them in vinegar with some apple slices in there, and then they grow pretty well. Of course, Atkins Nature Aquarium's got vinegar eels. I used to do them. I just haven't got the technique down for them yet. A little more difficult. I mean, there's methods to do it. Hey, Vinny, how's it going? One thing you probably need to do more on that is definitely rinse them out more than others, primarily because you're growing them in vinegar. And if you don't want to add acid to your tanks, you probably don't want to pour that vinegar in your tanks. But still, they're still pretty easy to do. It's just a matter of just watching videos on those. Hey, thanks, Vinny, for stopping by, and have a great night. Thanks for stopping by for support. Let's see here. BJ Palmer, I'm ordering a BBS hatchery from Father Fish. Saw it on his show the other morning. I'm definitely gonna have to take a look at that one to see how the. Hey, Vernon, how's it going? Hope you're having a good night. I know Sunday I will be talking about my brine shrimp hatchery that I run, and how I actually get them out of there and culture them and feed them. So definitely take a look on my video on Sunday coming out, which is going to be on that. So next thing's next. Another live food. Let me see what is next here. Let me move this. I'm not quite sure what is next. I just want to take a quick peek. Okay. Let me see here. Okay, I have a few more left here. And I'm going to save the most least common one for last. Another easy one to do is mosquito larvae. That's relatively easy. All you pretty much do is put out a tank outside and let the mosquitoes lay their eggs in there. Although, of course, one thing I don't like doing those because I don't like mosquitoes around. So that's the one downside of the mosquito larvae, is you're basically growing mosquitoes unless you get the mosquito larvae out before they turn into mosquitoes. But knowing me, I'd probably ignore that and being outside. Yeah. So that's one reason I don't do mosquito larvae. And from time to time, we do have, where I'm at, we do have issues with rust now. So it's definitely not something I want to try to do. Let's see. Mosquito larvae. Mosquito larvae look like water bats. Guess they do. Another good food, especially for little small fry fish and stuff like that, as well as other live foods, is Infusoria, which is basically a broad area and includes your green algae, and includes your parameciums. It's basically small little critters that you probably won't really barely see without like a microscope or something. Of course, Infusoria is good for your Daphnia cultures. So your Daphnia will definitely eat that up and grow, as well as some other live foods as well. But it's also good for your fish as well, especially if you're growing out fry. Let's see here. Good transition here from GRB. I also have a worm farm started from a handful of garden worms and now thousands. Larger cichlids love them, and the worm wee is awesome plant fertilizer, which probably brings me to my next one is earthworms. Another live food that it's kind of put in the wayside. It's not really brought up a lot unless you have those larger fish would actually chow down on them. A larger fish would love these. Really easy to actually culture as well. Just primarily just having a bin of like a material, something like a coconut core would work. Like some kind of soil that you get easily just kind of rummage through and pick out the worms, and just making sure it's in a moist environment. I've tried it before. My problem was I never really had the larger fish to actually eat them. So it's another culture I kind of put off the wayside and just decided to use them more in my gardening more than anything. So that's pretty much my live foods. I think that is the last one, which is that. What is your guys' favorite live foods to feed your fish? Please put it in the chat as well as the comments if you're watching the replay. Let's see here. Ian says we have dubia roaches breeding in a tub. We feed them to the frog and also the smaller ones to cichlids. I believe another person, that's definitely pretty cool. I think another person that did that was probably George with aqua balls. If he's still in here, I'm pretty sure that's the kind that he used. Baby brine is definitely probably going to be an overwhelming favorite in the fish keeping hobby. A lot of people do love growing out the baby brine. Snails is definitely one I didn't mention. Snails, of course, is good. One thing I used to do with snails was the ones that are in the tank, that like the so-called pest snails, the ram's horns and whatnot, the small little ones. One thing I used to do was I used to grab them and crunch them with tweezers, and the fish would just go nuts after them. I know some larger stuff will definitely chat on snails. I know you have loaches that eat snails. You have puffers that eat snails. So definitely another live food that I didn't mention in my slide. Thanks, us, for mentioning that. I kind of, when I was doing the slide, I knew someone was going to mention that. Let's see here. Let's see. Earthworms. Let's see. Use grass clippings, tree leaves, kitchen scraps, non-animal based, even dirt, no ferts. Yeah, that's one thing you'd actually use, like your clippings or your plant clippings. I used to feed them like my aquarium plant clippings. Used to put them in there. Right now, I will go ahead and post a link for StreamYard if anyone wants to come up and join the panel here. Feel free to come on up, as long as I know who you are, and if you're familiar, I'll go ahead here. If you crush them, most fish will eat the snails. Yeah, I used to do that a lot in my Maltese tank, and my Maltese would just chat on them, as well as my community tank with my tetras. My cichlid smack snails, especially ram's horns. I know my baboon is here. I tried putting some snails in there. They would just kind of go after them. So that's one thing I cannot put in my tank behind me. Let's see. Interestingly, in my pond full of Daphnia, live leadworms, there are 0 mosquito larvae. Cannot explain that. What could be the reasoning behind that? That'd be a very, very interesting. Why you don't have any mosquito larvae in there? Is there mosquitoes around where you live? Do the Daphnia chat on the eggs before they get hatched? Maybe, I don't know. That I would not know. Maybe that's something that I'm gonna have to look up. I'd be very curious to explain why that is. Very, very interesting observation. Definitely something I would want to find out, and why you don't have mosquito larvae. Now, in my pond, my fish trough, I don't have any mosquito larvae in there, but primarily the fish probably take care of that, so I don't have to worry about that. Another thing I used to do, whenever I caught a fly that was still alive, I would actually take the almost dead fly out to my pond and throw it in the pond, and my fish in there would just chat on it. Let's see here. Let's see here. And it looks like the chat on the StreamYard is a little slow. Let's see here. Atkins Nature Aquariums. My favorite foods are scuds and Daphnia from outside tub. Yeah, scuds are pretty good food as well. One thing I forgot to mention in the slide as well, but of course it's been mentioned in the chat as well. Let's see. Blackmores eat pest snails whole. I know a lot of there's quite a few fish that do that. I've never really seen it happen in my tanks, but then again, I might not be watching when they do grab them. Let's see. Same as bloodworms for fishing, they will eat the heck out of mosquito larvae. That's one. Let's see, bloodworms. I gotta figure out what does anyone know what the difference between bloodworms and blackworms are? I think bloodworms, aren't they like actually insect larvae, whereas the blackworms are just kind of worms. Let's see here. Let's see. see, yeah, but I definitely do love my live foods. Definitely good for a snack. Let's see. The bandanas they wear. Do they also throw up gang signs too? Yeah. Bloodworms are the larvae of a midge, and blackworms are an aquatic worm. Yeah, and I've noticed in a lot of fish stores where I'm at, I've seen them actually feeding what they said were bloodworms. They always look more like blackworms, so definitely probably were actually just blackworms. So yeah. The gang fight against blackworms and bloodworms. Now, do they fight out with your cribenzas? I'm sure the cribenzas would just chow down on them. Let's see here. What other live foods did I miss? Jesse's money is on the scuds. Scuds, yeah. I was reading some stuff where scuds actually eat snails, but good question on that. Oh, that's another one I forgot. I know. Let's see here. Live red gnats are a great food. Sarah used to make the product as a processed food in the 70s. I wonder why they don't make it anymore. The other live food I forgot was the wingless fruit flies, which is supposed to be an easy live food to actually harvest, deculture as well. Not one I've actually tried before. Let's see. Heard leeches being a problem with blackworms. Has anyone ever had problems with leeches in blackworms? That'd be a very, very good question. That I would not know. Maybe someone in the chat could actually shed some light into this question here. Sarah had a lot of issues against Tetra. Yeah, corporate infight on corporate fighting against corporation. Yeah. Did Tetra make their own as well? Is that why? Yeah. Something interesting I'm going to have to research is live red gnats. I'm going to have to research that and see what they are. Let's see here. GRB says, never had leeches in my blackworm culture. Yeah, that's one thing I've when I was researching blackworms is they mentioned stuff about leeches and stuff like that, and I don't know. I've never really noticed them. See, they're usually hitchhikers, I hear. Whoops. Tetra bought the area where the red gnats were cultured. And then, of course, they did not put out the product. That's unfortunate. Now, is red gnats only cultured in one area? Is that the problem with that? Or is it something where Tetra bought the rights to the red gnats? Let's see here. That'd be something interesting to know. Let's see. Not something that's really readily showing up on my Google search. But yeah, that's always unfortunate when a company buys out a product or something and they don't build the product or they don't offer the product out, which they just kind of buy it to just kill the product. Red gnats is a gnat from Europe. That's all I know. Gotcha. Be very interesting to know why Sarah didn't just make their own culture instead of depending on an area where Tetra bought out. And I wonder if the Tetra just bought him out just to get at Sarah. Hey, Big J, how's it going? Congrats on your 1K, by the way, there, Big J. Chewy, Pepperland Creek wants to know if you have any info on the fires affecting the blackworm farm in California, which I know. I guess there's only like limited farms actually do blackworm cultures, and California is a big one. And Chewy responds, nothing that I've heard. How many blackworm farms are there? I know a lot of people say that California, there's a place in California that pretty much has a monopoly about it. But I think there's one on the East Coast somewhere too that's not well known. But I could be wrong in that. The one on the East Coast might be getting their blackworms from somewhere else. Tetra bought out the red gnat culture, and then Hagen stopped carrying Sierra. Got it. I know Sarah's still around. They do make some products here and there, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's always the unfortunate aspect of getting some good products just being discontinued. But yeah. Speaking of products that are being bought out or changed, I know Marineland I think it was Marineland. They had those breeder boxes, and I think a different company took them over. Anyone notice any difference between the new ones and the old ones? Or are they pretty much the same? I know I've used them before, but I haven't used them since the new design or new boxing. I'm just curious if anyone has any experience on that, out of curiosity. Let's see here. Will be interesting things to know. Let's see here. What can I do a tour on? Yeah, okay. Does anyone have any ideas for the tank behind me? All I know is my baboonas right now, they're a little feisty, and they've been kind of picking on each other. I know there's a few. There's one I actually had to put in my hospital tank below here, primarily because she was being basically just kind of ravaged. Let's see here. Question for Big J. Catfish Cherry is looking for guppies. He wants to know if it'll be okay if he gifted him the win to him. And congrats on that win, I guess, Pepperland Creek. I kind of unfortunately missed Big J's live stream that day. Chewy. Red gnats were the staples food for my baboonas in the 70s, along with spinach. Maybe I should try spinach in there. That would probably be a good idea. Although I don't really have a readily source of spinach because it's not something I buy often. I might just have to buy just some spinach to try just for the fun of it. And Big J says, yes, Pepperland, that's fine. Let's see. Got your sticker on my board. And I'm pretty sure you probably already seen yours. Oh, yeah, there it is. Then I have yours right there. Of course, it's not well lit. along with a few other new ones. One from Nolan Aquariums, which is next to my, I don't know if you can see it because it's dark. Let me get some light in here. Frozen spinach works well. I'm going to have to buy some frozen spinach. Okay. Of course, this light really works better. Yeah, I can actually see. And then, of course, I got that one with the cardinal tetras. Not that you can see the cardinal tetras in there, but that one's from Nolan's, as well as that one right there. And this, of course, right here is my blackworm culture right here. As you can see, all the blackworms are kind of just hanging out in there in the gravel. There. That probably works better. If I can actually see where I'm pointing. Thanks, Scott, for sharing out my video. There we go. Okay. Whoops. I'm gonna have to pick up some frozen spinach and see how it works. I guess any leafy green would probably work great in a Mabuna tank because I know they do love their veggies. Okay. Okay. And of course, my throat is kind of giving out on me tonight, so bear with me. A little dry out here today, so probably should not be drinking cold water. Let's see, what other live foods did I miss? Scuds, I got that. I guess that's pretty much it. But I'm probably just going to end the stream now, just because my throat's kind of acting up today, and I don't want to struggle too much. But anyways, thanks for everyone coming out. I know I normally go longer on these live streams, but it's one of those streams where I mention what I had to mention, and I'll go from there. So, anyways, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming to watch. Collecting mosquito larvae is also cool. Yeah, I collected them once when I actually had a tank out there with water, but let's see. Archer fish loves crickets. That's the other live food I forgot. I actually used to have crickets when I had my African butterfly fish. I used to feed them crickets. Oh yeah, I'm feeling fine. It's just talking today. It's just my throat. Anyways, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, make sure you do hit that like button if you did like this stream. And if you haven't yet, make sure you do hit that subscribe button. And thanks for watching. Thanks, AC Aqua. Thanks, Chewy, for all your lovely information that you always spread out on the chat, even though, yep. Okay. And thanks everyone for joining.